Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I've got a quick fix for you if you have a problem with your lead breaking in your colored pencil. And this took a couple bits of trial and error, but I've come up with a solution that works really well. So first I'm going to show you how to do that, then I'll show you where, mistakes to avoid. So I was just sharpening this colored pencil and the lead fell out. So I'm just going to put this in my hand for a second and hopefully it can focus in for you. So you can see is that you've got a little bit of a gap there in the wood, and you've got the lead. And there's a lot of lead there. You could do a lot of art projects with that. So what you want to do is take your pencil, which is like a wood case pencil. This is a Prismacolor, which is probably the most common offender as far as lead breaking. And then you just want to quickly dip it in some water. And that's just my clean water bucket there. The reason you need to dip this in water is that we're going to be using Gorilla Glue. Now, if you have super glue, you can use that. Don't dip it in water if you're using super glue. But I find Gorilla Glue works a little bit better because it expands and marries the lead back into the pencil really well. So what I'm going to do is take the lead and add just the tiniest little drop that I can manage to the lead. And hopefully that stays in focus. So just the tiniest little drop that I can manage. If you've got too much, just kind of dab it off somewhere, get that excess off because it's going to expand. Then you want to put that back into the pencil. Just give it a little twist to make sure that the crack is lining back up and it's marrying, and just push it real good. And then you're going to see that you probably have a little bit of glue coming out the edge. And what you want to do is wipe that away. And don't worry, you'll be able to sharpen through any bits of glue that expands. And then you just gotta let that sit. Probably for a couple hours. I usually just do it at the end of the day. If I've got a few pencils that are problems, I'll set them aside and then I'll do this all at once. Make sure you wipe off the extra glue off your thing of Gorilla Glue. Now this has a little pin in there, which keeps it from, which keeps the hole open, because Gorilla Glue is super strong, and really, you know, if it didn't have that in there, it would just get ruined. That's why I don't recommend getting like a gallon of Gorilla Glue or a larger amount than like the smaller container, because and even a lot of times I'll use a single serve Gorilla Glues, because once it cures, it's done for. You're not going to rescue that, and you only got a shorter shelf life. So the important thing is that you just use a tiny bit of glue. So now I'm going to show you some that I fixed here that are all cured and dry. These are just ones I did this morning, so they're not all the way cured yet. But these are ones that I did last night. So this was my first attempt. And this time, when I did this one, I actually filled the cavity in the pencil with the glue, because I thought, hey, more is better, right? Not necessarily. You can see that the glue expanded. We've got a bunch of dry glue there, and it pushed the lead out, and so now it's at a weird angle. It's perfectly strong. I can totally use it, and I will. I'll use this, and then when I get it worn down, I'll just sharpen through it. No big deal. There'll be a little gap in there where the glue has expanded. You know, I'll just sharpen through that. No problem. This one was the first one I did where I put the glue on the lead and then put that in the cavity. And it stayed nice and straight, which was good, but it pushed, if you can see, hopefully you can see that on your screen. I'm trying to keep everything in focus, so I don't want to bring it up to the camera. Hopefully you can see there's like about 3/16 of just straight lead there. That's where it's pushed out. And because normally the only thing that would be showing beyond the wood would be this tapered part. So it did push it out a little bit. Not a big deal. I'll use it, sharpen through the glue, and everything's going to be fine. And then this one was the one where I used the easiest bit of glue that I can manage. I still got a little bit of expansion on the outside, but that's fine. But, you know, it's going to allow me to use quite a bit of pressure if I want to, and it's going to give me that, you know, basically a couple projects worth of lead there that otherwise would just go in the trash. So give that a try the next time you have your pencil lead break and fall out. No need to waste it. Just glue it back in and you'll be good as new. And also, to prevent your pencils from breaking, something that, some tips that I have to share. One would be use fresh blades in your sharpener, like these sharpeners by Coom. I like these because I can get those really long points. A lot of times I don't sharpen the end. I keep them kind of blunt for filling in large areas and only point them if I need to. You've got one slot for getting that long point. You've got another slot for making it come to a point instead of just being a long tube of lead. These come with refills. They're in that little slot there. If you've never noticed that and you have the sharpener, you just unscrew that with a tiny little screwdriver and you put the new blades in. And that's great. A sharp pencil sharpener is going to avoid a lot of breakage. The other thing that I find works better than these is actually an electric pencil sharpener. I have an inexpensive one, the 4A brand, which I believe is Office Depot's house brand. I got it for like $7 at a surplus store. And it's worked really good for me for several years. I've probably had it for about 10 years or so, and it's still going strong. I haven't had to sharpen it or anything, and I rarely ever break a lead if I sharpen it in an electric pencil sharpener. If you know you have a problematic pencil, like every time you sharpen it, no matter what you use, the lead falls out and breaks, then you've got cracks within the barrel of your pencil. It really happens on these white Prismacolors frequently, and to fix that, you're going to want to fuse the pencil lead back together, and since it's a wax-based pencil, you can melt it. And what I suggest doing is taking like a old-fashioned cloth heating pad, heat it up, and then lay your pencils on the heating pad and fold it over and let it sit for like 20 minutes like that. That should melt the wax on the inside. You can put a piece of paper down in case you're worried that it might melt the wax and stain your heating pad. That's probably a good idea. And then let it cool completely, then you should be able to sharpen it. I've actually microwaved my pencils for about 6 seconds and that works. However, you will blister your paint if you've got this metallic writing on it, and it could spark a little bit. And I just don't want anyone to burn their house down for trying to save a colored pencil. So I don't recommend that, that method really. And the other thing would be if you live in a hot climate, you know, put the colored pencil tin in your car for 15 or 20 minutes, you know, keep an eye on it, make sure it's not like melting like crazy, but you just want to fuse that wax back into one another. You want to make that tube of wax, you know, fuse those cracks back together so you have a solid tube of wax in there. And that will help quite a bit with these problematic Prismacolors. I know they can be problem children in our art room, but they're my favorite colored pencils. So I do like to fix them so I can keep using them. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you have any tips or tricks to keep your colored pencils in good working order. Add to the community down below. It's always nice to hear everybody's points of view and perspective, and share the crafty love. Thanks for watching. Please give me a thumbs up before you go. Until next time, happy crafting.